Hello everybody, this is Mr. Rob and welcome to the very first WWE 2k22 video here on the channel. Today we're going to be jumping into MyGM Mode, starting a little MyGM mini-series here on the channel before we jump into Universe Mode later. But just to give you some WWE content, thank you guys so much for stopping by. If you like what you see, make sure you drop that like and subscribe down below, especially if you want more franchise content. And I welcome you here to the channel. So I'm going to jump into MyGM today. I used to love the general manager modes back in the early SmackDown versus Raw games, 06, 07. Obviously they took it out, but they re-added it. I know it's not fully there, but I did want to check it out for the very first time. This is the very first time I am looking at MyGM Mode. This will also be a live comm episode, so I'll be talking as you guys go. So let's start, shall we? Let's jump into MyGM Mode. Alright, so I decided to skip the intro here as now we have loaded in. So it says, becoming a GM, our good old friend Coach Drew Gulak. Welcome to MyGM. Your first big choice will be deciding which GM you'd like to take your brand to the next level. Each GM has their own unique power card that only they can use. Power cards are useful tools that you can use to gain advantages in your season. So it looks like we have Adam Pearce, Sonya Deville, William Regal, Shane McMahon, and Stephanie McMahon. I'm going to go with Adam Pearce. I do like Adam Pearce. I like his background as an indie guy as well. And he's got the Instigator power card. I want to see how that plays out. So let's pick Adam Pearce. It says he increases the levels of all active rivalries by 1. So looks like that's what we're going to start off with. Choosing a brand, just like your GM choice, the brand you select will also have a unique power card specific to that brand to create a combination that will take your brand to the top. Now, I am very SmackDown, Raw, NXT, or NXT UK. I'd actually be very intrigued to do NXT, especially NXT UK, but I'm going to go with SmackDown ever since I was a kid. I used to watch SmackDown when I was a child, so I'm going to start off with SmackDown as my brand. And we get the Birth of Legends power card. 6 random superstars on your roster will have their popularity increased by 6. So it'll be interesting to see which superstars get that popularity jacked up. Alright, so it looks like some settings. Opponent type. This setting determines if the player is controlled by a person or an AI. We're definitely going to be playing the AI. GM opponents. I'm going to do Sonya Deville just because she's the other active, on-screen authority figure. And since we're SmackDown, we're definitely going to go up against Raw. I like to go up against Raw. Difficulty level, we're going to go hard. We're definitely going to make it hard on ourselves. I like to go for the highest difficulty. Duration, this is going to be a little bit shorter of a series, so I'm going to say we'll do 25. 25 is about 6 months. We'll do 25. We'll drag it on for 25, see what we can do with this. Well, actually, I'm going to do 15 just because we will be starting the Universe Mode series soon. Sorry for the back and forth. We are going to go with 15 weeks. Draft pool defaults. Yes, I don't want any of the legends in here. And then draft settings, I definitely want to make my own selection. So let's get started with the WWE Draft as we load on in. Alright, so here are the draft rules. Each GM will start with a budget of $2,750,000. GMs will take turns drafting one after the other, starting with player 1. There will be 8 rounds of drafting. After the 8th round, drafting becomes optional. GMs can opt out of the draft or draft until they are out of cash. Tip: GMs can press the R3 button to get recommendations on who to draft. You can also press square to get more information about a superstar. I'm probably going to be using those recommendations, but I will be making my own picks. Building your roster. When thinking about your choices, consider the role and class of your superstar. A superstar can play the role of a good guy or a bad guy. And to get the best matchups, you should pair them against each other. That makes sense. Speaking of matchups, you'll also want to pair different classes with each other to get the best ratings. So Giants versus Cruisers, Bruisers versus Fighters, Specialists versus anyone. Okay, so it seems like Specialist might be a strategy just because they're good with anybody. You'll find the goods and bads when you mix and match different classes, so make sure to take notes. Alright, I should have did my draft board homework, shouldn't I have? A superstar's star power will determine how well they draw crowds and viewers. Even if you book a bad match, fans will still come pouring in if the superstar has enough star power. Okay. Throughout a season, you can raise your superstars' popularity by putting them in matches, doing promos, or using power cards. The higher their popularity, the better their matches will be rated, and the higher their star power will be. That makes sense. Sounds a lot like how it used to be. But don't overdo it. Superstars get tired too. Keep a close eye on their stamina. The lower it goes, the higher chance of injury. Not booking them on shows will help them recover stamina. I'm assuming the flip side of that is they'll get kind of annoyed. Alright, so we get the first pick of the draft. And the most expensive superstars are Becky Lynch and John Cena. Followed by Roman Reigns. Asuka's actually worth a good bit. Finn Balor, Alexa Bliss, Big E, Bianca Belair, and Charlotte Flair. Followed by Sasha Banks and Edge. Now, with my first pick, I am going to make, well, let's see who it recommends. It represents, okay, Becky Lynch is who it represents, or who it recommends. Becky is a top star who can help boost the profile. I am going to go, I can see it in the bottom left corner. I'm going to go with Roman Reigns as my first pick, the tribal chief, the head of the table, the hottest superstar in all of wrestling, in my opinion, right now. So I'm going to pick Roman Reigns to be my first selection. After you draft, superstars will appear over here. Make sure to keep an eye on the different types of superstars you draft. An ideal roster will have a good mix of males and females, good guys and bad guys, in varied classes. Check the bottom to see your totals. Also, I know that there's no tag teams and secondary titles in this, which is a little unfortunate, so I'm not really going to gravitate towards tag teams. Feeling a little lost, not sure who to choose, don't worry, Gulak got you. Thank you, Gulak. At any point, you can press R3 to quickly go to superstars that we think would be a good fit for your roster. I've already kind of been doing that. Alright, so Raw makes Becky Lynch their selection. I had a feeling that was going to happen. So we are now going to go with who is next. Does it show? Oh, I see my budget is at the top, 2.4 million. I'm not going to go John Cena, even though that would be the wisest pick. Let's see. I like a probably to mix it up a little bit. I got a bad guy, so I actually will go John. This has got pretty good star power, but I could go a little bit cheaper. Finn Balor's a bad guy. Why is Finn Balor a bad guy? Pair fighters and bruisers for added. Oh yeah, I do have a bruiser as well. So I will go with my second selection. I think I am going to go Finn Balor. He's a little bit cheaper than John Cena, and they're about the same popularity. Plus, he goes good with Roman Reigns, so maybe Roman Reigns versus Finn Balor could be our top rivalry. But with my second pick, I do make Finn Balor the selection. Alright, Raw is up next. Looks like they are going to choose John Cena, so they get their top guy. Now time for us, our third pick. I think we should go with a female, kind of to get our head of that as well. So I'm going to actually go with Charlotte Flair. I do not like Charlotte Flair in real life, but you cannot deny her star power. And she is a specialist, so she goes good with anybody. So with our third selection, we pick Charlotte Flair. Raw's up next. They're actually going to go with Kira Tozawa. Looks like they want to spend a little, or save a little bit of money. It's something that I'm completely not doing. With my fourth selection, I'm going to go with my personal favorite. I'm going to pick Sasha Banks and have Flair and Banks be the go-to against each other. Looks like I've also picked 3 bad guys, so I might need to pick a good guy after this. But I'm going to go Sasha Banks to be our fourth selection. Raw, on the other hand, their fourth selection, they're going to go down to Shayna Baszler. It's actually not a bad pick at the 4th round. Alright, 5th round, I gotta start thinking about my budget as well. Let's see, is there any couple of cheaper options that I do like? I need a base who is popular, but these popularities are starting to drop off. So I'm gonna go, I do need to make a face, like kind of big time selection. Prayers up to him, but I'm actually gonna go Big E here. I think Big E is a good popular superstar. I think him and Roman Reigns could go well as well. And prayers to Big E. Hopefully he is going to get better with his neck injury. But our 5th selection is Big E. Looks like Raw is also going to go down the table. They're going to select Lana. Very interesting choice. A little perplexed by their draft logic, but it looks like they're going the small market route and just picking a bunch of cheaper options. Alright, the 6th round, I probably do need to follow the cheaper option as well. So let's go a little bit down. And I'd like to save a little bit of money. And is there a face down or a cheaper option that has good popularity down here? With my 6th option, I'm actually going to go with the old vet who is, you know, a little bit cheaper than what I thought. I'm going to go with Randy Orton, get some more star power up there. You can't deny the Viper's ability, so we make him our 6th selection. Raw is going to go on the flip side. They're going to go Elias, so I can't wait to see Raw's card. Now, I do probably need to save some money. I'm already down to 1.3 million, so we are going to go with a cheaper option, and I'm actually going to go with Natalya here. Probably wondering why. Well, she's cheaper. She's got a little bit of popularity, and she's a specialist. She's a veteran bad guy who can also help feud in our women's division. So our 7th pick, we actually are going to go with Natalya. As for Raw, they're going to go, looks like Kyle O'Reilly. So 52, that's not bad for your popularity. To our 8th pick we go. Let's see if we can scourge here a little bit. Now my 8th pick, I'm going to make it interesting. I know I said something about tag team guys, but I'm going to pick Montez Ford. I think he is a sleeper, super charismatic individual. He's a specialist, and he has very high stamina, so I don't expect him to get tired. Plus, I do think we can make something of Montez Ford, so he is actually my 8th round selection. As for Raw, they're still going to go down. They're going to pick Damian Priest. That's not a bad selection. All right, optional drafting. Great picks out there. Thank you. You've now entered the optional rounds. You now have the option to stop drafting and complete your draft if you want to save some money. Money will be used to book special match types, book better show logistics, buy power cards, hire free agents, and more. I am going to keep drafting, I think, though. So it's your call. You can continue drafting until you're out of money or back out and save. Can't go wrong with either way. Since we only have 8 people, I am going to make some more selections, but I do see we are underneath $1 million now. And let's see, we have only 3 good guys and 5 bad guys. I think it's not a bad idea to try to find a good guy. And so there's not a lot of good, cheap good guys. There's actually not a lot of good guys in general. So I'm actually going to go, Kofi Kingston. Yeah, I'm going to go Kofi Kingston. I thought it was Xavier Woods, but I'm going to go Kofi Kingston, Kofi Mania. Maybe him and Big E can have some nice tag matches. But I'm going to make him our 9th selection, get us a nice solid face. As for Raw, looks like they're going to go Otis with their 9th pick. I found who I was looking for. I'm actually going to go Chad Gable, specialist, 83, stamina, 51 pop, only 152k. We're going to make him the 10th selection. As for Raw, looks like they're going to go Lacey Evans. They're also going to add to their women's division. And then, so now our turn again. With the 11th selection, I'm going to add a guy who I like, who I think is kind of underrated in Apollo Crews. I don't think he's been getting justice, but I think maybe we can do a little bit better with Crews. As for Raw, they're going to select Dana Brooke, add to their women's division. Speaking of women's division, I think we could add to ours as well, so we're going to pick the recently released in real life Toni Storm to be our 12th selection. That way we have 2 good girls and 2 bad girls. As for Raw, they're going to go Alexander Wolf. Now our turn with pick 13. With my 13th selection, I'm actually going to pick Raquel Gonzalez. I think having a big bad girl, especially for cheap, will go a long way for this show. So we're going to add Raquel Gonzalez to the roster. As for Raw, they're going to select Oni Lorcan. I'm actually going to make one more selection. We only have enough money for one person. But I'm also going to add Tamina. She has 51 pop, especially for 144. I think she has good value. So we're going to make Tamina also the 14th pick. And then Raw will have their final selection. Well, before we even get there, here's a look at our roster. We have completed our draft. I think we have a pretty solid roster all around. So let's get ready to book our very first show. Raw also added Bailey, it looks like. And they also add Aria Davari. So Raw's making a couple picks. In the 16th round, they get Joaquin Wilde. So this is Raw's roster. Very interesting, headlined by John Cena and Becky Lynch. While a couple of projects all the way around, they'd got a few more out of their selections than we did in terms of picks. So here's how we stack up head to head. I think we made out pretty good as we look to book our first show. All right, so first week, St. Louis, Missouri. To start every week, you'll be going through your unread messages. You may receive messages from the commissioner, from opposing GMs, or from the superstars on your roster. And many times, a conversation will lead to a promise. You'll find those in your journal if you ever forget. Make sure to check since each promise should be fulfilled with a certain time. Okay, so we gotta be careful with what we say. First one's from Triple H. Tonight is the night, the debut show. We have high hopes for you. I was born for this. I'll try not to let you down. We were born for this. I talked about that in my channel update. We're born for this spot. Triple H responds, good. I'm expecting big things of SmackDown this week. Make it an amazing show. Will do, boss. Sonya Deville, the rival GM, actually says, "Hey Adam, I just wanted to let you know that I plan on taking Raw to the top of the power rankings and staying there." Not if we have anything to say. "I have a roster and show running capabilities to do it. I don't think SmackDown stands a chance. You really think you can contend with us when we have superstars like John Cena? Get real." She's talking that smack already. Oh, Randy Orton, this is the first thing. Randy Orton's actually from St. Louis. Time to give my adoring fans what they want. I'd rather be on the card tonight or there will be hell to pay Adam. Yeah, we'll definitely get you on the card, Randy. Not a problem with that. Selecting your champion. It's time to choose your inaugural champion. Choose carefully because title matches get a rating boost. Now, do I have to select a champion? I actually wasn't going to select a champion. I actually wanted to have like a tournament in terms of, you know, who was the top. But I do think it is fitting if I do got to make a selection for each champion. We're going to be our first pick. So starting off with the Universal Champion, we are going to make it Roman Reigns since he was our first pick. And for the females, it will be Charlotte Flair since she was our top pick of that. So those are our two champions. Welcome to the GM Hub. Up top, you'll find the most important information. The week, your rank, how many fans you have, and your budget. As you begin to book things, you'll see your show costs go up. Make sure to always stay under budget. Speaking of booking things, the first tab will house the most important part of being GM, booking your show. Every week, you'll receive a match card quality score based on the matches you book. Every non-pay-per-view show will have 3 matches that must be booked. That's a small card. Each time you book a match, you'll see it displayed as a fight card on the right side. You can also book 2 promos per show. These are optional, but I encourage you to make use of all of your superstars. Alright, I'm looking at the time. I think this is actually going to wrap us up for the first episode. So we went through the draft, and we've made it to our very first show. And I also went through the show logistics. Also looks like it will be taking place in a high school gym, so that's very interesting. But I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Here's a look at our roster once more. I think we have a pretty solid squad, and I definitely think we are ready to beat Raw. But I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I can't wait to bring you more WWE videos. The next episode will be coming out tomorrow, so I hope you guys enjoyed this one. We'll have our very first SmackDown show, and I'm excited to see what we can do with this, with WWE 2k22 on the channel. But thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe down below, especially if you want more WWE content. Spread the word. Tell them that we're going to have the best WWE channel here on YouTube. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm Mr. Rob, and I'll see you in the next one.